So now let's talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is a definition. Simply, the moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness of ego, thoughts, and emotions. Simply means observing how we think. It's important as a basis to be able to change if we want to become more creative. So, how do we do this? Of course, we have waking states awareness. Walking through the streets, somebody cuts me off, I can either get mad and lash out or back up and say, objective, this is unhealthy, this is going to take me out of a creative state, or even a happy state, a happy life state, so why would I engage that emotion? Deep breathing awareness. This is otherwise known as, and I'm not sure if you're ready for this, because it's getting pretty big. Okay, it might be shocking. There have been some older CEOs who look at this and say, this is crazy. People roll their eyes, they don't take me seriously anymore. Meditation. Oh no! Right? This is crazy. How can you possibly talk to me about meditation? This is religious. Oh, it stems from Buddhism. But if we were to look at a globalizing marketplace, of course, you know, the passage of time, people have traded. We've traded knowledge, ideas, foods, for example. So why is it we can't trade ideas? So this particular thing, mindfulness through meditation, is becoming more and more used as a practical application in business or in life in general. So why is this relevant? Well, meditation helps us to reduce the clucking chicken syndrome. And I think we all know what I mean, because we're all busy people. And we're all busy people walking through the streets every single day with tons of thoughts blaring through our minds all the time. Sometimes, if I'm not paying attention, I will spend a half an hour going from my workplace back to my house, and to realize I didn't see anything along the way because my mind was clucking all the time. So how are we going to be creative if our mind is working all the time? When do we give ourselves mental space to do this? How about a more consciously interactive versus reactive work experience? We can choose how we interact with our social space. This reduces stress. We can be more healthy, emotionally and physically. Mind and body are connected. It increases speed. Speed is a critical factor for the success of knowledge-based organizations. Speed to strategic execution. It also improves productivity. It improves performance. And it opens the mind to creative insight if you give yourself time. Now let's look at some of what's being talked about. This is very topical in the US right now, in Britain as well. These are mindful business books. These are not people talking about bringing religion into the workplace. These are people talking about increasing productivity by mindfulness, being aware of how we are interacting with the social space. That's important. Why don't we look at society at large? Well, I mean, business practice in general. So if we look at Google, a guy by the name of John Kabat-Zinn at Google, which is actually known to be pretty creative, right? Innovative, cutting edge. They have a mindfulness teacher come in and talk about these things to their employees because they feel it's important. We look at mindful economics and politics. We can look at mindfulness as US health policy. Mindfulness as an iPhone app. And of course, mindfulness education for kids. You guys, I know a woman here in Oslo who owns about 17, if I understand correctly, 17 barnehages. And she is integrating mindfulness as a way to help kids be much more emotionally intelligent. She's introducing this into her barnehages to teach kids at a young age. This is happening. It's real. This is something that maybe knowledge-based organizations could use to increase strategic position. So let's look at the fourth. States, traits, and emotions, which to engage. Detached involvement is comes from mindfulness. How is it that I can, in a group of people or individually, be able to give my passion to something but not have any expectation to outcome? As soon as we try to have an expectation to outcome, then that means that we're only focused on one thing and not open to other things opening up before us that might be even better. So detached involvement is also very, very important for organizations and teams, and I will get to that in a bit. Contemplate the self as artwork. So if we're talking about trying to be more creative, And if we're just going to be literal, I think it's pretty important for us to be able to say, yes, we are all works of art, ever changing, ever improving. This human experience that we have only once, what can we do to make it as beautiful as possible? How about continuous curiosity? This takes us out of the need to think we're right all the time. Why don't we just be curious? This helps us to be more creative, I think. Opens new pathways to creativity. Authenticity. You know, if I'm going to really open up, I have to be honest with myself. And if I'm honest with myself from the core of my being, and this will project outwards and people will pick this up and this will develop trust. This will open other people up to my ideas. Gratitude. Literally, biophysically, when you sit down and contemplate gratitude, everything that you're thankful for, do this sometime. Give yourself a couple of minutes to actually feel gratitude for the things you have in your life and see how you feel. See if it's a good feeling. If it's a good feeling, then this is right where you need to be creative, I think. So these are the states to avoid. Fear, fear, fear. As soon as we engage the emotion of fear, what happens is we shut down all of our higher thinking states and just go into a survivalist mode. And if we're just in survivalist mode, then we're clearly not going to be able to be creative. So we have to be very conscious of the emotion of fear. Is it necessary? Do we engage it? Voices of jealousy. You know, what happens if somebody gets that promotion that I always wanted? Do I get pissed off about it? Angry? No. Might be disappointed. But you know what? Jealousy is going to take me right out of the creative state. It's going to take me out of flow. And it's not where we want to be if we want to have nice careers, I think. What about voice of victimization? Poor me. Everybody's against me. The world's against me. I can't do anything. I have no choice in the matter. Voices of irritation. Anger. Yeah, of course, you get angry. I get irritated too. I try not to engage it, but sometimes it gets the best of me, but it takes me out of creative state, literally. Voices of judgment. Judging others. Why do we judge others when they're having their own experience? If we're constantly judging others, then that means that we're in some way judging ourselves. It's very easy to do, and that will take us out of the creative state, of course. Excessive ego. My way is the best way. No way about it. I don't care what you think. I know everything. Does that help to learn as a collective? No, it doesn't. So of course we want to be very, very aware of excessive ego. And the voice of cynicism. Stupid. That idea is stupid. I refuse to learn anything new because it just doesn't fit into what we're doing here. Moving on. If you combine all of those four in this one circle, then you will have the components to be able to think creatively more continuously. More continuously. I don't want to say that you can be continuously creative all the time, but it is certainly increasing the probability of your creative state if you were to engage those four areas.